notifications, please. Going live. I am updating Patreon, so my followers there know. And then I gotta find the chat on YouTube so I can see you guys' questions. Of course, it didn't work last time, so there we go. 19 watching. All right, mute. Mute. Hey, Mike. Everybody, Adam, what's up? Trying to get Premiere Pro to start, but it's not, and I don't know why it's not working. I probably should have rebooted, but it's not launching. So we will go to Vimeo, or no, we'll go to YouTube, so we can have the video up here. I really wanted to do show you Premiere Pro, but I don't know why it's not loading, and I don't want to reboot now, because if I do, it'll shut everything down. So skip ads. Look, I watch my own ads. This is not Monsoon 6. There we go. Skip, skip, skip. Yeah, I don't know why it's not starting, so I'm bummed about that. It's not a normal thing, and I'm all updated on Creative Cloud. So, Vishal, what's up? Southeast Wisconsin Rail Productions, hello. Hey, Goatfleeg. I actually did a whole video, and I'm not gonna like pimp my Patreon page too much, but I have a video on there where I talked about a lot of the places that I shoot from, but I don't give away too many locations, just because, I mean, honestly, I don't have. Well, there's my. I don't know if you can hear the Roomba that we named Baby Yoda in the background. It's vacuuming. Honestly, there's a couple places that I shoot a lot from, like overpasses and things like that, that are very obvious. If anywhere else that I shoot high ground, there's a lot of times where I'm just finding stuff on the fly. And of course, I know it really well now, so so I guess it's probably second nature, and I probably have a lot of places that I just kind of know offhand where I go to a lot. But what's up, Kyle, Adam, Kyle Jackson, my man? Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling it's probably because I have too much open or something happened, but that's not usual, because I know that broadcasting the OBS will take some power, some processing power. So I don't know what's going on with this. I'm gonna close Lightroom and see if that fixes anything. And I wanted, in the question about locations, again, responding to you. I don't remember where it is on Patreon. I can't. If you message me, I could totally find it. I could have just been doing it on YouTube too, but I think it was I think it was on Patreon. But I don't care about some of them. I mean, a lot of them are like, you know, because now it's so popular, it just doesn't matter. But there's an overpass on I-8 for Vehicle Valley Road, and everybody's over there. It's got great high views. But generally, like, when I'm out chasing, I'm looking for, you know, sometimes like shoulders of an off ramp, a bridge where there's a lot less traffic. You know, there's on I-10 southeast of Tucson, there's the Marsh Station exit, and everybody goes there. On the north side of it, it is a towering, like 50-foot up, like edge where you just see a valley and the Rincon Mountains, and everybody goes there too. So there's just, you know, for me, I couldn't even really tell you specific areas, I guess, because a lot of it is just, I would have to like bring out a map and pinpoint it. So let me see here. What is this? I don't want to lose maps. But that, you know, that exit on I-8's around over here, right here. Vehicle Valley Road. There's Marsh Station, that's down here. This exit, if you look, it just cuts right there. And this edge of the off-ramp, you see this entire mountain range right here. It's fantastic. Vishal, so I have a Patreon page, you guys, and I don't want to bring it up because it probably will ends up showing like income and all that and things like that. But if you go to, let me see if I bring it up here because I don't think I'm logged in on Safari. Oh, look, I probably can't open Safari. I don't know. There's something weird with my computer right now. I guess I wish I would have known that this was going to happen before I started live stream. Things aren't launching, so I don't know what is going on. It's so weird. Anyway, patreon.com/Mike Olbinski. I have a supporter like page there, and I really appreciate Mike up above, Mike Castles. He's a member, and I really appreciate my supporters over there. It's a little more confidential, more intimate kind of community where I share things behind the scenes that I don't share publicly. They got to see this time-lapse film, Monsoon 6, before anyone else got to see them. I share information usually daily, especially on when I'm chasing tornadoes, about location, target, sneak peeks of photos, wallpapers, and then I do tutorials whenever I can. This time of year, it's a little slower because I'm in my wedding portrait time of year where I'm doing just nonstop editing of photos all the time, and so the tutorials and things are a little bit tougher to do. But there's lots of tutorials on there about lightning, how to photograph it, LR time-lapse, flicker, dust spot removal on time-lapse. There's lots of things on there that is valuable. And if you love my work, it's a small amount of money to kind of just help out to see things before other people do if you are excited about that. And I will show behind the scenes of making these films. I wish I could have showed you Premiere, but of course, as my computer's not working. I do like behind the scenes. I showed these people like the steps involved in kind of making it along the way before I even had the music, some of the clips and all that kind of stuff. So, and there's editing tutorials on there as well. So Adam actually just answered you as I said all that. So I don't like asking people, for support because it's not like I'm doing horrible or anything, but a couple of people told me to start one, and it's a nice way to be able to kind of share things with people to people that really care about it, and are I love Pecos Hank. I support Pecos Hank's Patreon page because I love to see his videos first and behind the scenes stuff, and I love that. So I tried to do a couple behind the scenes videos for just Patreon people this past year, of out on a chase just for them as like a thank you. So I try to do that kind of stuff that other people don't get. So Vishnu mentioned the fire roads and the Rincons. I don't like getting off the road too much because if I get up and drive up into the Rincons, I'm kind of stuck there all day, and I like to chase. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Huh. Yeah, I got 64. I mean, I got 64. I got 64 gigs of RAM on here. I don't know what's going on with this stuff. It's probably because I started OBS or something weird's going on. Yeah, Adam's right. There's other stuff up there. Oh, well, data mining in Utah. Okay. um, GFS weather models. Yeah, Kyle, I definitely do. I use College of DuPage a lot, and I'll use a lot of times, especially in spring, I'll use the 500s to kind of look for troughs coming through and different things. I know people were this one's not done yet over here, but I do have a 4x4. I have a brand new 4Runner, so. And it's not that I can't go on the dirt roads. It's that I don't want to because I'm off, because it gets me off the road. I would miss a lot of the footage I get if I was stuck on a mountain and had one shot at something and then had to go down a bumpy road to get back out of it for an hour. That's nothing wrong with that, of course. But that to me is mostly I'm going to that specific spot for the shot that I want. And if I get it, great. If not, I'm kind of done. And the Monsoon does not necessarily go where you want it to go. So, you have to, and for me, I'm trying to get as much footage as possible, the best footage. So I have to race, get underneath downbursts before they happen. I wish that I could show, let's see here. I wonder if I can pop up some clips that I didn't use. For example, where's the really good Elgin Beast? So I had raced underneath this base before any of this rain was falling, right? And so I'm absolutely looking for storms where the rain's about to fall out so I can capture that downburst. And so here I, got to this spot just in time as it was already falling. Unfortunately, it was also windy and blowing rain on my lens, so I didn't use this whole clip in the film, and I'm wiping off rain spots. But as you can see, I did kind of capture like the best part of it here, where it gets very, very intense and starts spilling out there. You see this rain foot coming up. And so this is the kind of storm where if you had decided, well, I want to be on a mountain on a 4x4 road off somewhere, and you would never have gotten the storm. You're just kind of there hoping for something really good. And maybe you get something really, really good. But because I was there for that, I shot that, and then I went further down the road and kept chasing it and was able to get this beastly storm that you see towards the end of the film, which was one of my favorite scenes. It's one of my favorite shots of the year, which I did a pano of, which is that from that location. So anyway, I'm just explaining that because I definitely like to chase. I don't like to go and sit. And even Mount Lemmon, Mount Lemmon. Look at that's great, but you're kind of stuck there. I don't know if it was a gold mine this year because there was not very many good storms around Tucson. I was down there a lot. Hey, Cody. Well, it's okay. I was a few minutes late, Cody, myself. Thank you so much for the kind words, dude. I really, really appreciate it. I say it all the time whenever I post these. I have a pretty tough, it's always like an emotional day for me. Oh, Darren, that was really nice. It's always a tough day for me. This film took 2 years to shoot, all of last summer, and I didn't get a good dust storm, really. The only dust storm I got last summer was this one. That was the only haboob that we got, and it was basically the result of this storm right here. You see that rain foot or that dust foot getting kicked up it blew that way. I kept chasing it, got in front of it, and eventually there was a wall of dust. But the problem with this one is this one went off into the middle of nowhere, unable to chase it, and eventually, kind of died out. So last year was so rough that I was like, I got to save all this footage for next year and do something better. So this was 2 years in the making and a lot of work and a lot of effort. And so when I put it all together, there was only one Haboob day this year, and so I don't. I'm a little bit more realistic. I don't. They weren't prolific. There was one day, which was all the clips at the end of this. So it was a good day for this chase. All these clips were within about an hour and a half, 2 hours on Interstate 8, and that was it. All these ones at the end. That was one single day. And so if you want to see something, a really good day, Monsoon 5 has really good stuff from 2018. That was 2 really, really good days. So Darren, I appreciate this, man. Yeah, and I agree. 2020 has been really bad, and gotten caught up in a lot of the politics and the frustration with everything, with COVID and all that. So it was really nice to kind of focus on this for a while and work on this. But when I put it out there, I get, kind of like, there you go. I just spent 2 years working on it, and it's all into this 8 minute 35 second film, paid money for the music, worked so hard on it, and then I put it out there. And but really, I appreciate are the people that support me and follow me on YouTube and Twitter. There weren't four Haboobs this year. I don't think so. If there were in Arizona, I would love to know where they were, because there was only one good day. Believe me, I'd chase them all. There was one down, Avra Valley is all probably the same day. There was one short-lived wall of dust down on Wilcox Playa that I definitely am not sure I'd call it a Haboob, because it was a really strong downburst that kicked up dust, and it looked like a Haboob as it crossed west of the playa. And then when it got off the playa, it hit the mountain, and it hit rain, and it all died out. So there was only really one good Haboob day that I saw, and I didn't see any other photos from anyone else. So I don't worry about hail in Arizona. That's pretty rare. I mean, we get it, but it's small. I don't really if the storms pass over me, generally it starts raining, so I don't hang out. And this is for Adam. And I don't really anchor my tripods. I know Avra Valley. I go there a lot, so I drive through there all the time. If there was one dust storm this year, and it was on August 16th, and a dust storm probably did go through Avra Valley that day, but it wasn't as good as it was up here. So okay. So anyway, I don't anchor my tripods that much. I'm running and gunning and moving around so much that I just I make sure the legs are kind of spread wide, and my camera's usually with the 11 to 24 on it is heavy enough. I definitely get shakes, and I fix them in post with a warp stabilizer and all that. So that really helps. Hail is not actually very rare in Arizona. I'm sorry, I'm having problems with this guy who's saying a lot of stuff. But hail happens every day during the monsoon. It happens up in the mountains. It happens. I was down in Wilcox, got hailed on. There's a lot of the storms over the mountains. There's hail literally during the monsoon, probably every day. It's just that it happens in the higher elevations of all the mountains. So we get hail here a lot. It's just not very, it's generally not large, except for in 2005 when a bunch of golf balls destroyed some car lots and stuff. But we definitely get hail, and it's not that rare. No, for the lightning question, I So these everything else without lightning is kind of sped up. If you're talking about, are you talking about daytime lightning or just any of them? So because what I did something this year where I tried to isolate the, like in this one, is this the clip that has it? Yeah. I isolate the lightning happened. It's not superimposed. It was there. Thanks, Mike. I'm just gonna move on. The lightning happened. It was right there. I wish I could see if I can frame it. If I could bring up, let's see. This was 2019. So let's just go to the one that I know where it is. So the Supercell right here. Oops. So there's that bolt that lands there. That was at the September end of the year. Sorry, man. I chase storms for a living, so when people say stuff, I have a hard time. Like, I want to make sure that the correct information goes out there. So it seems like hail is rare in Arizona until you get out there and chase it, and you realize it happens every day. It's just tiny and not everywhere. So unfortunately, I can't see the lightning bolt. So the lightning bolt happened on this storm. Where is that dang thing? Let me see here. It's got to be right in here. These are 8K time lapses in ProRes, so they do not play very good on my computer until I put them in. Regardless, the lightning bolt that you see here, or like in this one, they occurred here. It's gonna be over here on the left, right around there. So they occur in the time lapse in a single frame. But what I do is when I put this whole film together in Premiere, God, I wish I could bring up Premiere for you guys. Sorry, I'll try to do another one of these. But what I do is I take that one frame of the lightning and I kind of slow it down, do a little frame blending, and try to make it so that one bolt appears for a few frames so that you can actually see it. The rest of it is going forward like normal, but that one bolt, it happened, it's there, but it's not like superimposed, like I faked it and threw it in there. When I hear superimposed, that to me sounds like, you know, I took a lightning bolt and just kind of faked it, like threw it in there. So that is not what I do. I take that one frame, cut it out, and try to extend it. And I did a little bit more of that this year, for sure. And yeah, Adam, this was one of my this was one of my favorites. This was from last year, from 2019. It was one of my favorite storms. I mean, get the whole like the sunset color, and I knew this backside was building, and so I knew that this was going to erupt, and then lightning would start coming out the back. So I was just waiting for it, and I couldn't believe, because he had this whole storm on the left, all this color, and then this going up, and then all of a sudden it starts freaking dropping bolts out of it, and then you got like, which is kind of hard to isolate on YouTube. I probably could do it over here. Definitely one of my favorite like sequences, and it was towards the end as well. Let's see, what day was that? I think it was sunset lightning. No. Oh, it was this day. Here. So, like, nothing's happening on the right side, but if you chase, you know that this is building and there's going to be something there. And then it starts slowly, like, the first like lightning strike comes out of it, and you're like, yes, you know. Let's see here, right there, the first one like happens out of that newly developed storm, which is exciting because I already started, you know, with shooting left, and then we got these other bolts that come out, and then there's a big bolt from the blue that is sadly so that one is probably one like that, but there's one. it's so wide that it went off frame. So yeah, that, look at these. Look at that. Are you kidding me? And this is 11 to 24, so it's so wide that that this bolt looks really slanted, but it's not that slanted. It's just that I'm using such a wide angle lens. And then there's another one, and I was just so bummed that these were off frame because I would have loved to have a really good shot of that. And the problem is while I'm shooting this storm, okay, I had 3 cameras going. I had, I was shooting these bolts with my 50 millimeter. This is the same storm with the 50. So a little bit after it started getting darker, you can see some of the positives on the right out here. So this one is shooting that same storm with the 50. I had been shooting, this one is really too short. I had been shooting this first. This is the left side of that one. So when that one storm was shooting so wide, this 50 was shooting the left side, but it's so short that I moved it because I wanted to shoot the right side. And then my Sony, like literally, okay, if you look at this scene, I am looking west. If you turn to the south, let's see. This storm was west here. At the same time that this storm is going on, and I'm running up a freeway to shoot this one. This one is also occurring at the same time to the south. These two storms were happening at the same time. And that's why having multiple cameras and chasing and not sitting in one spot is good. I would never have gotten this footage if I had been sitting on top of a mountain. And then I was able, because of having multiple cameras, I'm able to shoot all 3 of these at the same time. And I'm not gonna lie, I was running all over the place, running up a ramp for like 100 feet to make sure that this one was going. I was running up there adjusting the shutter to make it, you know, less dark. You know, I adjust the shutter to open it up as it gets darker, running back down and doing the same thing to this one, and then also making sure that this one was good. So I was sweating and I was running. Yeah, so I answered that one. Adam, thanks, man. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I do a lot of lightning stuff. I talk about that a lot. Well, the fact that a time-lapse catches lightning is one of the things that I have a couple friends that really like hate me about, but or they hate me for, because, you know, just the fact that, you know, this Supercell goes by. I mean, there was a lot of lightning on it, so I got lucky, right? But the fact that there's a lightning bolt, I take shots like every second for most of these. When it's a really good storm, I'm shooting every second. So the chance, especially if it's like a slower shutter speed, like it's darker like this, the chance of catching lightning goes up, and it happens. I got, I mean, like, this is a sunset shot. Well, that one's a little bit slower of a shutter speed. Let me see if there's another one here. Okay, this is another one that was, you know, I'm underneath the storm. It's dark, but it's daytime. But I still caught, you know, that lightning strike right there. And it happens. The more you shoot all the time and you shoot every second, you're going to catch lightning. It's just going to happen. And slower shutter speeds help. And yeah, Adam, I adjust the shutter on the fly. So let me see if I can. So this is one of my favorite clips, but let me tell you, I mess it up in the middle. So this one starts off with a very bright sky. And God, I'm so mad that I would really love to just reboot and so I could show you guys stuff. Wonder if I can go to the actual clip of that. What day was that? Oh my God, I'm not even gonna know. Playa, okay, 8/22. I'm gonna see if I can get info on this So the first shot, it says F0. I know you guys probably can't read this very well, but 1/250th of a second. So this starts out at 1/250th of a second, and it's bright for a little bit, but as the sun starts going down, I gotta adjust it. So if I go about like halfway through here, oops, not that one, but like here, I am now at, I'm still at 1/250th because it was probably bright for a little bit. As we get a little further, let's say halfway through, I've adjusted. It's still 1/250. What the heck? Let me see here. Well, 1/200th. So now I've adjusted it to 1/200th. And the problem was I probably wasn't doing it fast enough. Again, I had a couple cameras going, and I was running around. No, I was not in Iowa for the derecho, by the way. I have a lot of, Francisca, I have a lot of tutorials on Lightning. And, well, you can advance in YouTube with a dot and a, okay, thank you. So, what do you say? How do you do, arrow? No, I don't. Oh, that's 5 seconds. What do you do to go frame by frame? What button? No, I'm touching the camera. So here's what I messed up on this one though. So you'll watch it, okay? Just watch it speed up, okay? So you can see it kind of like the clouds really speed up. So that's because, this is not going to load, but by the end of this, I am at 13 seconds. And so I went from 1/250th of a second to 13 seconds. Here I'm at 3.2 seconds. Okay. Well, I'm using that one and it's not going. Oh, it does. It's just slow. Okay, it does. I got you. Thank you. It was just not. I was just being patient or impatient. So thank you for that. So my mistake in this is that you'll notice there's a jump, and it's because I stopped the camera for 8 seconds because I thought I was kind of done, and then I decided to keep it going, and it changed the shutter speed. But right around here, it jumps. It's very, very brief. But I was very frustrated because to have a time lapse to start like this, to go all the way to lightning and dark, was very nice. So I was very bummed at myself. I tried to blend some frames to make it less noticeable, and it's probably most people wouldn't see it. It's a little jump. But that was one of my favorites of the year because I set up where I wanted to set up and knew the storm was eventually going to come to me. And so it was just a matter of being patient. And I love this playa, and I knew it was coming, and so this was, I really, really liked this. I just wish I hadn't stopped it, and that was the only like negative about it. But then it's like spitting out dust, it's churning, there's lightning back there, like it was awesome. So yeah, thanks, Adam. Hey, I mess up stuff. There was a lot of this clip that I freaking love. Let me tell you. You can kind of notice it if you really, really pay attention. But in the bottom right area, well, maybe you can't notice it that way. Well, a giant, like a bug, basically got all over the dang camera and started like walking around. Like if you see it right, you see this black spot right here? Watch it. See it moving around? So it goes all over the thing, and then it goes here for a little bit. Stupid bug. And what happens is it landed around here. And that's where I decided I was going to try to fix it. And so it's not easy to see, but you see in some parts, there's a little, like, darkness there that's circular. That's it. that I have like cloned and worked my butt off to get rid of, because this was one of my, I mean, look at this clip. These are the clips that you live for, where you've got a storm in the distance and it comes at you and it just dumps, and then the sun starts setting and you get majestic colors and rainbow. I mean, this was like first part of the season, and I mean, I love this. But let me tell you, Kyle, my camera's shaking because it was so windy here. And warp stabilizer is your friend, my man. So you got to use that. It'll fix it. Francisca, you are welcome. Yeah, well, you know, the pausing is not so bad unless you really, you know, if you're doing like 3-second intervals, 5-second intervals, and you pause it, you're not going to notice it. But when you're doing every second or something, and I might have been doing every 3 or 4 seconds on that one. So, yeah, Francisca, I know a lot of people from Europe come out and do tours here every spring. So if you want sometime, you can look up, I mean, I do them, but you can look up Paul Botten. And he runs tours from London and comes out with a bunch of people every year, multiple tours. And he's a great guy, one of my better friends chasing, and probably going in a group from Europe would be great. I didn't mean like that you live in England or anything. I just mean Europe. Yeah. Well, let me tell you, there's some birds on this too, you know. And I try to get rid of them, and sometimes I get a little lazy because it's just nonstop, so much editing. What else did I have to fix this year? I've had to fix a few like little bumps and stuff. Adam, I just can't get into drone. I had a drone and I sold it. It doesn't flow with the time-lapse that well unless I was doing, you know, hyperlapse with it, where it was moving, and also, well, Adam, it's actually a very good point. So one of the things that I know is that this is what I love to do, and I love the time-lapse, and I like chasing, and I like capturing it. But anything else like above it, I don't like to make it so complicated. Going to, you know, bringing out a drone, it just adds another layer of complication and craziness to try to focus on, because focusing on like 2 or 3 cameras at once and making sure they all have good exposure is a lot. And looking at the storm, what it's doing on radar, looking at your road network. I mean, not just this, but like Vorticity 3 being out chasing tornadoes. You really have to see what's going on. So it's a lot of work. My friend Dustin Farrell, if you guys have seen his transient films, that's where I get a little depressed, because I feel like I'm really, you know, I'm proud of what I do. I feel like I'm really good at it. But watching someone with a very expensive camera get slow-mo lightning and incorporate it into like a time-lapse film, that's very nice. It looks so good. It makes me feel like, man, what else could I add to this? I don't think a drone is really the answer for me. I just don't think it would work that well. But that lightning is great. I don't want to do it because I don't want to copy what someone else did. And so that's something that I'm like, you know, but it would be fun sometime to buy. I can't buy the Phantom, but I could buy some other really good, you know, $6,000 to $8,000 camera that can do, you know, 500 frames, 1,000 frames a second. Maybe not as good as that one, and try to get some lightning when I'm out to throw into something like this. So, let's see. I think, Michael, I did not go to film school, and I learned all this on my own just by doing it. All my videos are recommendations of subscribers. Samuel, I do not know what you were asking there. I'm so sorry. Oh, Adam, you noticed the jump? Is that what you were saying? Human being, did I get a Supercell? Yes, I got a couple of them. Actually, it'll be kind of hard to tell here, but this storm right there is actually a Supercell, and that was from last year. It looked like, I'll show you a better photo of it just so you can kind of see. So this was it. So that was a big wide angle before I don't know, I did a photo before I started time lapsing. I was done, but this is a Supercell from last year. There was also this one as well, but this one did not make it into the film. And this year, this one at the end was the most Supercell you're ever going to get in Arizona. It's the best that's the best Supercell I've ever seen here. I mean, look at that. If that's not a Supercell, that to me looks like, I'm going to show you one from Colorado that I got this year. And where is it? Well, that's way better, but it's not like they're completely far off in the whole Supercell structure arena. And let me see where's my other shot? Because I've got this one right here to show you. Okay. I mean, these two photos look like they could have been on the same storm in Colorado, you know? So that right there, this right here is the best Supercell I've ever seen in Arizona. Pretty amazing. Obviously did not last that long, so that sucks. Yep. Yeah, the slow-mo Phantom, Randall, yes, it's like a $120,000 camera. Yeah, chasing in Missouri with the trees and stuff, that's like hard enough. Like, I encourage you guys, if you're chasing, just try to do it without being overly complicated. I mean, if you want to go out there and just drone and get some really cool drone footage and put something together, like high quality, and that's it, focus on that. Focus on one thing. One of my early workshop students, Ruth, she's a wonderful woman. I love her so much. And she, early on, she was trying to shoot with two cameras from the very beginning. And she said, I just can't do it. I got to stick to one because I'm messing stuff up. The other one's falling over in the wind. So sometimes you got to start off in a more thoughtful, like singular-minded kind of simple way, and then expand as you get better. And that's what I did. I mean, I started with one camera, shooting in JPEG and being real crappy about it, and then got better and better, got better equipment, learned how to do it better, learned my settings, and learned stuff so fast that I can set up, two cameras at time-lapse in probably a minute from getting them out of the back of my car and setting them up. Maybe 2 minutes I can have two of them rolling from just experience and practice. Yeah, safety is important for sure, especially with tornadoes. That's scary with the trees. Ugh. Samuel. Oh, I make these videos for fun, but they are also for money. The dust storm clips in this film will probably be licensed for a BBC show coming up, which I've probably talked about privately with other people on Patreon. At least I'm hoping. And I was helping the BBC capture this footage on this day. For the whole summer, I was a consultant with them to tell them when I thought it was a really good chance at a dust storm. And they had a helicopter, they had all kinds of, they had a ground crew, and I told them today this was the day that looks the best all year. And a little bit before this, I said, yeah, you guys might as well launch, because it was from Phoenix. I go, you might as well launch and get down to Casa Grande. It's going to happen. They had to launch a helicopter remotely because the BBC people are not here, obviously because of COVID. So they had a crew, and it cost them a lot of money to get them to fly if nothing happened. So they got aerial views of this whole thing. It was freaking great. And they didn't get a ton of other time-lapse footage of it, so they're going to probably license it from me, and it's probably going to be exclusive because they want it for this one specific show that's going to come up, and they don't want anyone else to have it. So when I'm out shooting this stuff, I am hoping that footage gets licensed, and I license stuff a lot, and different things. People want rain, people want lightning, people want all kinds of stuff. So this is my business. Obviously, I also do like workshops and tours, and I have my Patreon page that helps, and I do weddings and portraits, but the storm side of it is my business. So I make these films because I absolutely love getting all this stuff, putting it to music and showing people storms and creating a mood. And I love movies. I love superhero movies. I love dramatic, I love dramatic soundtracks, Interstellar, Hans Zimmer, The Arrival. I love music like that. So for me, this is like my creative outlet to do my version of those kind of movies that I love. And so I'm going to do this for fun anyway, but all these movies have turned into things that people find, especially on Vimeo and YouTube, to go, hey, we were searching for storm footage, we found this, we want to license a couple clips from it. And that's what happens. And I love Colorado. God bless it, Colorado's great. Yeah, wind speeds and storms. Hey, Chris, hey, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. No, I think the film and a larger camera would be tough. I mean, for time-lapse, obviously I take thousands and thousands of photos a day when I'm out chasing storms. So I have thought about trying to up my game to something like the, what is it? The Phase 10 or whatever, that 100 megapixel beast. But there's a problem with a lot of those cameras that are high megapixels. They can't handle like doing 1 second intervals. Now Canon is coming out with the R5 like S that's supposed to be like 90 megapixels possibly. If that's the case and it can do a shot every second, we will probably be upgrading. Oh, East Texas chasing. Oh God. Is that where you live, Adam? Oh my gosh. Malty, you were talking about me in class. You could have shown my new film. Hey, tomorrow when you're in school, bring up Monsoon 6 and show it to him. Say, hey, I had a premonition. How do I approach telling a story? My only way to tell a story at this point is I try to do like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a TV show where they will have like a big intro, like the show opens with something dramatic and then it's like, boom, Lovecraft Country. That's what I was watching just recently. So it's the first show that came in my head. And then they'll go into like a calmer part of the story and it builds up to the end, which is the big deal. So this, I'm kind of starting this off with some slow-moving, dramatic clips, close-ups, kind of more like dramatic music as like a build-up to a powerful song or a powerful part of the song where it builds up and you got a big wide rainbow with the title. So for me, that's like my version of like a TV show opening with something kind of building up, and then I bring it back down to, like clouds building, which to me is like the start of any storm is clouds building. So that's the beginning of your story. They got to start from somewhere, so they start from something like this. And so I take it from here and let it build up into like meaner looking stuff, and that's why then I go right from that to like this clip, which is kind of like that one, and then it really moves in big, powerful rain, color, rainbow, all that kind of stuff. So, and then I get into all the downbursts that I love. But then I try to like have breaks in it. It's almost like, it's not like a commercial break, but it's like a story break where something will happen, then you go to another story, right? So this was all like downburst, microburst kind of stuff, close up of the big one at the end. And then my next part of the story is going into just like some beautiful like color sunset stuff that builds into lightning. So for me, telling a story is trying to come up with different segments and stuff. But the ending is always, for me, is I'm always trying to save the best stuff for the ending, at least in my brain. So that's my story. It's like I'm waiting to the end to show you everything that to me is the best, which are This was one of my favorites. I mean, you can totally see that dust just crawling over the mountains, and it's like churning. And over here, it does the same thing. Just swallows those hills. And then a big, shelf cloud for Arizona. These are, they happen, but this was really, really pretty for out here. And then the Supercell, so I'm going into all my really good clips. So that's kind of how I would tell a story. Makar, thank you. I'm so thankful for you, and I'm so glad you love them. Francisca, if you're coming to chase, you want to come in the spring, like usually, in May to June, and you chase anywhere from Texas to Montana, all the whole central part. But if you go with the tour group, they'll take you there. Garrison, I had that Sony A7R III too. One of the things I would tell you, the tip is keep that sensor clean. It is just horrific with dust. So I rarely ever use it for time-lapsing, especially chasing, because I constantly am, I might be changing lenses. I'm in storms. It's dusty. I stick to Canon because I do not get a lot of dust spots on it, and so it's really, really tough for. It's tough for that. You have to keep it clean. Keep one of those rocket blowers. You take off the lens, blow it out, put it back on. What I usually do when I start a day chasing is I take my cameras out, set them to f/16, and point it at a blue sky and take some pictures, and then look for dust spots. If I find any, I blow it out. If they're gone, great. If not, I will clean out with a swab. Anyway, that's my one tip with the Sony, because dust spots are bad. And I also I do all my grading in Lightroom, so I edit all of these with a Lightroom preset, and they get rendered from After Effects. So this year, what I tried to do a little bit more was I think I tried to up the vibrance a little more, because I think in the past I've looked at some of my videos and thought the color's a little flat, and I really wanted the color to pop more. Because if you shoot in RAW, you edit in Lightroom, it's not like you're doing a ton, so you got to be able to push it. So summer monsoon in Arizona is great. Francisca, if you were going to come here, that's great, but they've been kind of bad. But springtime tornado supercells, central U.S. Pecos is the best. I love that dude. Samuel, thanks. Thanks for being a fan all the way from Brazil. I'm way behind on comments. Adam, you can plug Pecos. Pecos is he is a good friend of mine. We don't talk like all the time. We talk, in between the storm seasons. We don't talk much, but he was here last summer, and we went and had coffee, and I see him out on the road, and he's a friend, and I think he's one of the best dudes out there. Very kind, very genuine, and also a good model for me with. He does very good about staying off social media and just focusing on what he does, and I've been trying to do that more, is to not be on Facebook so much, because I definitely get down on myself seeing what other people are doing or seeing things I missed, and it's bad for my psyche. Trees are awful. I hate trees when I'm chasing, but hey Siri, have I shown my films as part of our YouTube nights? I don't. Oh, okay. What YouTube nights? Is that your family or something else? Oh, were you talking about this one for the high view? I don't remember, but this one, I love the very beginning of this, the light on those mountains and how high it was. Mazia, you are so welcome. Thank you for watching them. I really, really appreciate that. And yeah, Adam, I do all the panning in post. Some of it's a little more subtle than others, but someone brought up doing a slider earlier, and I didn't answer that question. I don't. I tried it once. Let me see if I can. I don't want to go. I was looking at sheds, guys. I'm trying to build a shed. What? Which one did I do it in? It's probably the chase. Yeah, okay. Here is the only time... Oops. Here's the only time I've ever used a slider when I'm out chasing. Oh, okay. Right here. I'll tell you what happened is I got so stuck on that slider that by the time I decided to pack up and move, I didn't realize the storm was building more to my south, and that I ended up being in the notch of like a developing very, very weak tornado, and I got really kind of panicked and in a weird spot and watched it cross the road in front of me, and I might have got hit by some vortices from it. Regardless, the point about the slider is that it adds another, just like the drone, it adds another thing, and chasing storms is already so inherently kind of like a dangerous, all-consuming kind of thing, that being able to also, like, knowing, let's just say this storm here. I was here at this storm for like half an hour. Now, if I had a slider or a panning head or something, what if I turned all the way to the left and didn't realize it was just going to stay here and dump, you know? Like, the slider can ruin a shot because storms move different places that you don't think they're going to go. The other thing is everybody was asking about my high points that I like. This is up high. Using a slider when you're up high does nothing. The only time you want to use a slider is if you're kind of sliding past something. So that one I showed you wasn't bad because I was at least sliding along the grass. So there was something in front of me that you could really see. I was really low in this wheat field. And sometimes I wish, maybe I wished I would go somewhere and set up and have a great Supercell and do that, but it takes time to set it up. Then you have to figure out, I got to go from one side of the slider to the other, and it takes, how much time is it going to take to get there based on how fast is this storm moving? Am I doing a shot every second? Do I have 8 minutes? Do I have 15 minutes? Do I have 25 minutes? It's pretty tough. So I like to just shoot it, and I like high areas where I don't see anything in front of me anyway. So yeah, Dame 42, that's exactly what I was saying. If you got something in your foreground that you're going by, then a slider's great. You know, early on in this one, if I'd been closer to this cactus, a slider might have been cool. But I also like a simple composition of just composing a shot, like a photograph. And for me, a lot of it is just it's doing a photograph, trying to capture a spot or a high area of just the storm. And so that slider stuff just adds complication. South Mountain Park. Yep. Let's see here. Hey, Andre from Germany. Nice to see you. Oben. So the composer is Peter Donasy, and what he did was he sent me, I don't know if I have it all here, but he sent me like bits and pieces of it. I might have gotten rid of all of it. I probably deleted it. But what he did was he sent me like the first minute. And he's like, hey, I got an idea of something. And he sent it to me. And I liked it. I'm like, okay, I really liked it. That was great. That's exact. I have been looking for music for this film for like 2 months and even last year, and I couldn't find anything. And the last bit of music that I found was for Vorticity 3, and it took me combining this one guy's, Ryan Talbert. I combined 4 of his songs to make it work because there was not a perfect song. So Peter, when you work with a composer, they can do what you want, you know, but it's still kind of their song. So he came up with a great like intro, and I'm like, okay, I like that. Then what we need to do is we want to have like a big build up, and then we're going to go into some quieter stuff. And so he will send me another version of it, and I'm like, okay, I like that, and I'll start laying tracks down to it. I render all these ahead of time, and it's not really till I get the music that I can sit there and really start working on it, because I don't know where things are going to go. but certain clips have to go in certain places. That's just the way it works. And that's the one key thing about doing these films, and anyone doing time-lapse films, is the music is so vital and so important to match up with the footage that you're using. And I've seen a lot of like storm films where it's like people will use super dramatic music, maybe more dramatic than the stuff I use, and they're just shooting like clouds passing by and light rain or Virga or whatever. And I think it's like, okay, you're trying to be really dramatic, but you don't have the footage to go with it. So you need it to really match up. If your footage is not dramatic, then use something that goes with it, something calming and more peaceful. So, excuse me, I need a drink. Oben, competition. Well, Dustin Farrell, I mean, he's a friend of mine, though, but I guess we're competing. If you look up Dustin Farrell and his transient films, you're going to have your mind blown because of his slow-mo lightning. And this year, whenever he posts Transient 3, I'm kind of dreading it because it's going to be... He chased all spring because he didn't have a lot of work to do because of COVID, so he has all this good time-lapse footage, and he had his Phantom Flex out there destroying slow-mo lightning bolts, so it's going to be a really, really good film. So I think we both have a little bit different style, but he really adds an element that I can't beat with the lightning. So, and then there's Nicholas Wagner that I haven't talked to in a while. I don't think he likes me very much, but I met him years ago. He has all the Stormscapes films, and they're very, very good. I respect his work a lot, and I don't know that he does much anymore, but he does a lot of stuff in Wyoming. And then, of course, Stephen Locke. He doesn't seem to be doing as much lately, but his stuff in the past is great. He's one of the guys I kind of like looked up to and tried to become friends with because he was just so good at chasing storms, and he was really into doing the time-lapse stuff as well. And on a little bit of a lesser note, because he can't chase as much, my buddy James Langford lives in Dallas, and he chases when he can, but he does a lot of good time-lapse stuff, but he just is not able to get out like I am and chase full-time. And there's a lot of people here in Arizona that do different things here and there. But I would think like those guys like Dustin are kind of the top level. But Dustin's he's a good friend of mine. We really help. We really help each other, I think, with licensing questions. Although he's been doing it longer than me, he's way higher than me in the world with doing a lot of the commercial filmmaking stuff that he does, like interviewing. He did like interview for John McCain. He's done like out there filming stuff for like Super Bowl, and although I did that too, but he's just a big deal. So I love Dustin. He's great. Maybe just nature porn. Hey, Michael Shaneblum is great. He does a lot of good time-lapse stuff. I haven't looked at a lot of the landscape kind of time-lapse stuff recently because after a while, at least to me, sometimes I feel like they're a little bit the same. Oh, Martin Heck. Martin Heck is a great guy to follow for other time-lapse stuff. And he has a great volcano time-lapse called Calbuco from years ago. You gotta follow Martin Heck. He's awesome. He's a good friend of mine as well. And he does a lot of different things, but his quality is fantastic. He spends a lot of time on it. Yeah, Darren, absolutely agree. Music is important. And that's why I try to do different things to shake it up. Some of my black and white films that I've done, one thing I really liked is if a song inspires me, then that's what's really fun. Like this one was this band that sent me their music, and I love this song so much. And I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but it does not sound like anything I would do. But I wanted something different for a black and white film, right? All of the tracks I've marched this soul mute down. But they have this guy has such a great voice, and then the girl comes in and her voice is haunting, but for a black and white kind of like Old West feel, it has the right, at least for me, it had the right feel to it. And it had some good, like, I don't know, sounds in it. But where's the girl come in? You're right here, I think. Anyway, the music is important, and what's great is you if you get inspired by an already existing track, it's like the best, because you're like, oh my god, I know exactly what I can do with this. And that's what I love. The custom music is harder because you just don't really know what you're going to get, but if it's right and you can work with the guy that really help you get the ending you want, we spent a lot of time in the kind of like the end, then it's awesome. And Peter is great to work with. Pecos, Hank, what about him? I don't know if you were asking if he was competition. I guess if you're just going to say Storm Chaser competition, maybe. But Pecos has such a different, like, style. I mean, he's doing more, like, kind of education, informational videos with his guitar, and he does regular video most of the time where I'm just time-lapse. I don't necessarily see Hank as, like, competition. I just see him as a friend doing something different. Daniel Shaw is also another guy that people would be like, well, he might be competition too, but he's not, like, he doesn't do what I do. But he live streams, he's hugely popular, and I think it's made, it's helped the three of us at least. We've gotten to be good friends together because I think we have a mutual respect for what each other does, but we also don't do the same things and necessarily try to copy each other. And so that's been really, really great. I'm a human, I am competitive, and I love when I love seeing people do the things that they love to do, and that's why I like Pecos and Daniel, and that stuff is great. If I see people trying to do what I do, I'm a little more competitive, and it's a little tougher for me because I get, just personal. To me, this stuff has always been personal passion. I started out not to make money. I started out to do this because I loved it, and so it became like shooting the Monsoon here. It was a passion of mine, and now there's other people doing it, which is everybody should. I'm glad maybe I've inspired some people. I've done workshops that teach people how to do it, and that's just the way it is. It's not like I discovered time-lapse on my own and started doing it. I saw other people's work and was inspired by it. But I'm definitely competitive, so I'll be like, oh, I got to get better. So that's why I will spend more time shooting. I will take longer. I'll take 2 years to put out a film because I want it to be better than what everybody else does if I can. Mike Graham, I really appreciate that so much. Cody, sorry I didn't get to say goodbye. Reading your message too late. Thank you for the kind words, man. I do human being. If you're asking if I license for awareness and education, I definitely will give people stuff for free if that's what you're asking. If it's totally for nonprofit, I mean all the National Weather Service offices use my footage for training. I've definitely let people use stuff. Yeah, Darren, the girl's voice is awesome. So, yep, Dawn Morrow, I absolutely agree with you there. That and Goat Fleeg, that's a great thing. Getting permission to use the music is very, very key. So the other thing I have a little bit of a problem with is seeing people put videos like this together and then they just go grab a Hans Zimmer song or whatever song they want and slap it on there and post it and go, look at what I did. And you're stealing music and it's illegal, so you can't do that. Jay Satori, yeah, I mean, people steal my stuff all the time, so, and I'm really bad about it. Here's a list on my own channel right now of people that have my footage in it. Here's one. This guy's got 1,000 subscribers. Well, this guy's got 133,000 subscribers, but only when did he post it? March. All I got to do is come in here and do busy work. But it says 1 to 10 of many. If I scroll through, I recently got rid of most of them. Here I am scrolling through. We're up to 100 already. I think it's all sorted by views. I haven't cared very much because these people have 1 view on here. But there right now, I've cleared out thousands before. Here we're at 227 right now. So it's sorted by views. So this guy right here, soothing song. I'm just gonna freaking owner. I'm gonna do a 7-day notice so that they can have time to get it down. Boom. So hopefully it'll be removed in 7 days. I haven't had to get a lawyer for anything yet, but if I do, I know some. Andrew Luna, thank you so much. Modern day Zeus. Wow. I really, really appreciate that. I do say I really, for you guys that say these nice things about, emotional stuff. I had someone say they were watching this and they were crying. It's so hard for me to believe that because I've watched it so many times that I lose all perspective. But I want to say I do spend so much time, trying to do whatever I can to build some emotion and build up and all that kind of stuff to it. So if it works, it works, and it's awesome to hear. Oh yeah, Skip is great. Adam, it's okay if I'm not one of your idols. Skip is awesome. Daniel's awesome. Reed is awesome. I'm friends with Reed. I'm hoping I get some footage in there. I'll have some time-lapse footage, and I think in some of his, or a couple of his episodes for the Cat 6 show coming up that he was filmed for this year. Nat Geo filmed him for Cat 6, so I was trying to capture time-lapses of storms that he was on. And I did in a couple cases, especially the Colorado one that I just showed you. So I'm hoping that some of that stuff will be in there alongside the stuff he's shooting. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Sari Keen or Carrie Keen, maybe Sari Keen, but I would like to go to Venezuela and shoot the Catatumbo lightning sometime. I actually would like to get to Australia and shoot some stuff. They have great dust storms there, but it's just so unpredictable, and it's hard. I know here that we have a great storm season in central U.S. for 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months. So, and it's closer to home. And then I chase in Arizona. This is all Arizona during the summer. And I have 3 kids. I've been married 22 years. Yeah, 22 years. And I don't like being away. My middle son, I have a daughter, and my middle kid, Eli, he's becoming like a soccer star with every team he's on, and I like to watch him play on the weekends. And so I missed some games this spring out chasing, and it bums me out. And now he's in club where it's a little more the games are a little bit harder and more important for him. I want to be there, so it's hard for me to want to travel that far. It's hard enough for me to spend that time in May and June to be out chasing the plains where I'm gone almost for 2 months. I mean, I come back and forth, and sometimes I'm home for a week, but I just can't. I love my family, and I like being home, and I like being with them, and being gone for a month in another country to chase storms to try to do it justice is just, I already do it in the spring, and I chase here, and being gone again, that's really, really tough for me. John, that's perfect. Copyright free music, great. Yeah, if you can get emotional about your own work, you did good. Darren, if I get the music for the ending and I put clips down to it, the first couple of times I'm like, oh, I really like it. And then the music is stuck in my head for days. It's just after a while I've watched it so much. I watched this film here hundreds of times before anyone sees it. I mean, I am just sitting here and even ready for it to go. I'm watching it again, and what do I find but a dust spot right there. I've gone through this so many times and fixed dust spots, and there's another one. And so I didn't. You can see it right here a little bit. And so that's just something I got to fix. And I posted this video anyway because I'm like, I'm gonna fix it for the clip itself, and I didn't want to wait anymore. I've been waiting too long to post this. But I've watched it so many times for that kind of thing that, you know, I lose perspective. So. Sturmjäger, you asked about flicker. I don't get flicker in mine most of the time because I do a thing called a lens twist on Canon where you press the aperture button to get the aperture blades to kind of open, and then I twist the lens off a little bit and it locks the aperture blades, and then I just shoot that way. So that's mostly the aperture is what causes flicker. I also use manual white balance, and the other thing that can cause flicker is really fast shutter speed. Like I'm talking like 1/4000 to 1/6000 of a second can cause flicker. Maybe even, you know, like 1/2000, whatever. So I try not to use fast shutter speed. But if I do have flicker, I can try to LR time-lapse, or there's a plugin for Premiere and After Effects called Flicker Free. And I've done it. I used it for, let's see, this clip right here. I used Flicker Free on this clip, not this one. This one, because I had it already done. The problem is these cars racing by, in Lightroom, if you up the shadows and highlights, the cars actually affect each frame depending on like how big the car is or how small it is, the shadows of the entire image. So you can think it's great with the cars, and then it actually causes weird flicker. So drop Flicker Free plugin on here, fixed. It just takes a little extra processing. Michael, if you're talking about, I mean, I slow it down. There's a couple of them here. I tried something new that maybe didn't work that great, but otherwise, you said something's wrong with them. They look fine to me. This one is not the greatest. It jerks a little bit. I was trying to do something where I overlaid a lightning clip and moved it and offset it by a frame, and then did a light blending mode, so the lightning would come through and last a little longer. Like this one, the lightning has a little bit slower. It kind of fades in and out a little more because it's actually 2 layers where I'm only letting the lightning through for the most part, and it's offset so they last in a couple different frames. But I slow down the lightning ones at night because otherwise they'd be way too fast. Well, you just gotta figure out how to not get the flicker from the start. That's the biggest thing. I don't like to fix it because it takes forever. So figure out how to not do it. If you have flicker, mostly is caused by aperture blades. So get lenses that you can lock the aperture, or manual lenses that are really good where the aperture is manual. You know, you can try that. Adam, yeah, 3 kids for it. You understand. Well, Adam, I freaking appreciate that, dude. When Adam, you say stuff like that, let me tell you, I have loved the weather my entire life. I grew up loving it. I watched lightning with my dad in the backyard. I have pictures from high school of storms by my house. I just love it. And 10, 12 years ago, I started watching Storm Chasers on Discovery Channel. I had no idea people did this. I started looking at lightning photos on the internet. My friend Shane Kirk from Kansas City, I saw his lightning photos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. I want to take pictures of the lightning like Shane does. So there were things that inspired me to get into this that I didn't even know existed. And I looked up to like Reed, and I look up to all these guys, and that's where I kind of learned from. So I always got into this just because I wanted to do it for fun. So when people say stuff like that, Adam, it's very, very special to me, and I, sometimes can't believe it. Especially I can't believe like Reed, I don't think that they're together anymore, but I ended up shooting Reed's wedding in Nicaragua like years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And the fact that I watched him on TV, learned from him and the other people chasing, and then earned, for me, I guess, earned enough respect that I eventually became friends with him. And then he asked me to shoot their wedding. Like, that is just unbelievable. I I just can't believe like where this journey has taken me. So I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, and my wife is super duper patient. She's so awesome. Definitely taken us a while. It took us a while to find a balance. John, I'll try to do that as well. Stormjager, thank you for that about Monsoon 6. I still get a lot of people who love Monsoon 2. And I kind of like Monsoon 5 because so much good dust storm footage in there, but I appreciate it. I do really, really like this one, and I love the music. The only thing I wished is that I had a little bit more lightning. This year, I literally had one lightning clip at night, and that was it. It was unbelievably bad. Paula Piera, thank you. Pereira, thank you so much. You are the best. I know I love all your comments all the time. Yeah, I don't know if Michael was talking about that or the ones where I slow it down. Oh, thanks, Adam. Yeah, I will say this, that these sped up ones with the dramatic music don't move me as much. But if I do watch, like this one, if I watch Reverent with this music, I do get a little bit, like, I get a little more emotional watching these, like, I love when the music really is emotional. That's what will get to me. Like Breathe, yeah. I love the vocals in this. That's why for that Reverend I was trying to find the same type of thing. I love it at the end. I agree. What shutter speeds do I use? My shutter speeds just very depend. Like Vishal, I showed us one clip that I started at 1/250th and ended at 13 seconds. So my shutter speed is usually, I set my camera to f8 ISO 100, and my shutter speed is whatever is required to get a good exposure. I don't really worry about it too much because you're just out there and you can't. It gets dark, you have to adjust it on the fly, just not something to worry about. I don't use ND filters too much, but if I was shooting, for example, it's the 16th. I don't even know if I rendered it. Yeah, I did. If I'm shooting like this, like building clouds in the distance, I use a 135. I will put like an ND filter on there because I want to get the shutter speed a little slower. Otherwise, I'll get flicker. Of course, I could just fix it. Yeah, Michael, if you're talking about the daytime clips of lightning kind of slowing down, yeah, that's exactly what Damon said. Well, I do all my time lapse at 30 frames a second, and I shoot, and so I compile them at 30 frames. I never have any problem figuring out cloud speed or all that. I mean, if you're going to start looking into cloud speed and matching shutter speed, you're going to go crazy. There might be people that technically will say it's better, but all my time lapses I think are pretty good, and I don't do any of that stuff. All I do is go, this storm is awesome. I don't want to miss anything, so I want to shoot it at every second. Or like this. I'm not gonna waste time figuring out anything other than I need to shoot it as fast as possible because I don't want to miss a single stinking frame. So I shoot it every second, compile everything at 30 frames a second, and that's usually a pretty good speed. And then if you speed them up in post, these are all sped up, 150, 300%, and all that. So, yeah, Goat Fleeg, I agree with you. Like, one of my favorite all-time clips is, I think it's Vorticity. Yeah. This is one of my favorites. I'll tell you when it happened. It's a clip after this one, I think. This is the one where I thought, right here. If you ever thought that the atmosphere is full of water, you watch that clip and realize we're like underneath an ocean. I mean, look, it looks like you're looking up at waves. It looks like ocean waves crashing over your head. And that's where you can see what the atmosphere is doing. And the same thing when it goes to like these dust storms, right? Like you see this dust storm is literally just air with dust in it. So it's like watercoloring. You know, it's like putting putting food coloring in the atmosphere so you can see what the air is doing. Otherwise, you would just see these clouds building and moving along and being like, huh, but you don't know what the air is doing underneath it. So then you can kind of see how these moving build the clouds above it, you know, because the air is pushing up. It's just insane. It's so fascinating. Adam, I got a lot of stuff, man. So I've got a Synology NAS server that's got, of course, I'm not connected to it right now, which is odd. Something going on. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I have a Synology fantasy football. Everything goes here. This is like a hidden thing in the house. Oh, Baby Yoda did not make it to the home base, so I got to put her on him on the home base. Okay. Well, things are just not working right now. Oh, I want to get this. Okay. But regardless, what I have is I've got Mike, I'll see you later, dude. I got to get off soon myself. So what I got is I've got these Thunder Bays that I bought. I don't know if they're the greatest in the world, to be honest, but they're cheap enclosures. They're like $600 a piece, and I have all these hard drives laying around. So this one is 40 terabytes. This one, 20 terabytes. This one is also 40 terabytes. So I've got these three. They're all Thunderbolt. I think what I really liked is they are Thunderbolt 3, and they can daisy chain, and it's great. And they act like a drive on my computer instead of, I almost got like a QNAP one or whatever those are called. But the way they connect to your computer is mostly through Ethernet, and I just don't like it. I want the USB-C thing. So I use those three. I got a couple other G-RAID drives here, and then everything gets backed up to this NAS where I've got all kinds of stuff. Where that one's about 80 terabytes full. And then I also have Backblaze, where I back up everything to the cloud. Of course, it's not going to work. Oh, it does. So I've got 83 terabytes of stuff right now backed up on Backblaze. Vishal, that's totally your call. I get it. Other people have told me that. I'm, as an artist and who puts a lot of work into it, I always get bummed out if someone says they muted it to listen to something else. But if you liked it originally and then decided to try to watch it with another one, you know, at least that's fine. Yeah, Dane, the surf footage is very much like that. I mean, that's what makes supercells rotate, is the atmosphere. The winds are all moving in different directions and helps create that spin. Mac, you're welcome for buying a new TV. I hope it was worth it, if you're not joking. I shoot with Canon 5DSRs and Sony A7R III, various lenses. I use RAID 5. Pretty sure it's RAID 5. Wish the Synology one worked, but I don't know why it's not. Let me try again. Oh, there we go. So these are all Pretty sure these are a RAID 5. But see, I'm already in trouble. My storage pool is already at 61 terabytes and it's almost full. So I've got to figure out... Oh, that's that one. I do have 14 terabytes in this other one that I did. So, can't remember what they are. Oh, here we go. Should say somewhere. Oh, this is a Synology hybrid RAID, which is a little bit different, I guess. I'm using their RAID. Yeah, RAID 5. Yep. Well, storage is like one thing I've actually paid for recently, which sucks. Cost me more than like cameras I bought. So like all of these are 10 terabyte drives in the main one in the first bay, and in the second group I've got 8 terabytes. And then I had a bunch of extra drives from earlier, so these 4 terabyte ones are in the other one. I'm going to expand, once I get some bigger ones, I will expand the secondary storage so that, because right now it's only 14 terabytes, I will expand it to get it to 20 to 30 at some point by putting bigger hard drives in there. Storage is important, and there's probably a lot of stuff that I should get rid of. But I also shoot weddings, and I shoot family portraits and all that stuff, so I keep everything. And I try to go back and delete things that I'm not going to use as often as possible, but it's tough. So, but luckily Backblaze has everything up there, and I don't have to worry about losing too much stuff. The problem with Backblaze and the way I have it is it works as long as you have stuff connected to your computer. And it's, if you like unplug, if you put a bunch of stuff on a hard drive, back up the Backblaze, unplug it, and put it somewhere else, Backblaze will delete it after 30 days. Unless you use their B2B permanent cloud storage, but that is like cost per like pennies per gigabyte on there. So that's like permanent storage, which could end up costing you hundreds and thousands of dollars a month if you keep putting stuff on there. So there's probably certain things I should have on there because I don't really want to lose it, but everything's on Backblaze right now. If my house burned down today, I have everything on Backblaze except for maybe, obviously programs and things like that and stuff in my office, but all my data would be safe, and that's all that matters. You do Backblaze and Dropbox, that's crazy. I'll tell you this, I just got CenturyLink fiber the other day, finally, a couple months ago, and it's 900 down and 900 up. I mean, I can back up a 60 gig wedding in like an hour or so on Backblaze. It's insane. Oh, the Synology disk stations, Adam. Yeah, they're really nice. They're their network, and I want something connected to my computer so that I can then back up stuff to Backblaze. I would love another Synology disk station that eventually has like a Thunderbolt 3 USB-C connection to it that I can just have it in my office and then just keep expanding it and have one like drive to use. Because right now I got 3 of these Thunder Bays, and I've got 2 G-Tech G-RAID drives and another one on my desk. And it's fine for now. It's just if they start running out of space again, I got to figure out what else I'm going to do. And then it's not like you can really sell this stuff for any money to make up for it. Backup, yeah. Everyone says storage is cheap, except if you need a lot of it and you want like these nice NAS servers. David, I do my time lapses at about 30 frames, 29.93 at 30 frames a second. Thanks, Adam. I really, really appreciate it, dude. And Madzia, thank you. All right, guys. So I've been on for like an hour and a half, and I got some work to do. I probably should get off, take a break. I really, we have like 45, 50 people watching the whole time. I really, really appreciate it. It's yesterday was, every time I release a film, it's a very big deal for me. Get a little bit grouchy that day because I don't know, I put a lot of work into it, and then it's like, there you go, it's out, and now I have nothing for the next, year. I got to shoot more stuff in the spring, and but it allows me to kind of like put that behind me now, and I can focus on other things that need to get done. So again, thanks for being a subscriber. I assume if you're not, please subscribe, and if you want to check out my Patreon page, Michael Binsky, search for me over there. And I definitely only want people who really want to be there and support, the work I do, and hopefully want to learn some stuff. I do giveaways every now and then, trying to figure out new things to do. But definitely very busy with 3 kids in life. So, yeah. So anyway, you guys all rock. Thanks for sharing my work too. If you're sharing it, I appreciate that. Let your friends know. And hopefully next spring will come and we'll be doing a lot more behind the scenes like chase videos, which I think people really like this year. So I'm going to try to do a few more of those and hopefully a little better. So, all right, guys. Appreciate y'all. And